Welcome to First and Goal, where everything is made up and the points don't matter. Get ready for the latest and hottest topics in the SML. Let's get started. Here's your host, Mad Bomber.
What's going on, SML? First and Goal, we've got another division episode. This time, it is the NFC North, four-time Super Bowl champion NFC North. Prime with four of them, and Damon, Dump, and Coop, none. All right, guys, so we're going to start topic one. I know Damon's got to get this in before his ice cream melts. So we're going to go ahead. Topic one. Dan talked about wanting to balance the conferences, right? So two-part question. One, are they balanced? And two, would it be better if Prime had competition in the NFC so we get different Super Bowl participants? And we'll start with you, Dump.
This is what I got to say about this. All right. Really, if you look at it, it's as balanced as it can be. So it comes down. I mean, you could switch it a little bit, but it'd still be the same amount of balance. Because in the NFC, it comes down to Prime. In the AFC, it comes down to Dan and yourself. KP had a miracle run, but really he's not a legit contender year in and year out. Those are your three contenders in the league until someone else proves it otherwise. So to me, they're balanced. Would it be better if Prime had competition in the NFC? Yeah, I think it'd be a little bit better. It's kind of boring seeing the same guy in there every year. So I think it would be good, but I mean, how do you vary it? I mean, if you put Dan in the NFC, you'd get the same result because Dan can't beat Prime. So I mean, I don't know where he's getting at. If he comes to the NFC, he's like 0-6. So maybe put you over here, Bomber. We can get a little mix up. But if you put Dan over here, it's the same result.
Okay. We'll go with Prime. You're up next. What do you think?
Yeah, it's good. So I think that they're close to as balanced as they can be, which is what Dan wanted. I would say the AFC is a little bit deeper, especially it seeds, I'm going to say 5 through 9, roughly. When it comes to would it be better if Prime had competition, I'll say it would be better for the league if one guy wasn't in the Super Bowl every season. But to define competition, it's like, who could we stick in the NFC that's going to beat me? Is it Slice? He's a school teacher, but he can't do math. Late game situation. KP's Buster Douglas. He had one good season. He knocked out Mike Tyson once in a fluke game with a kick return and a dropped interception. Pretty sure Gibbs was hurt or out of that game with some like fatigue or something that Super Bowl. He's Buster Douglas. Dan 0-5 or 0-6 against me. Raider fan, we've seen what happened in that Super Bowl. There's only one man in the SML that has beat me in a real game this cycle where I was like, you know what? He played better, and that's Mad Bomber. That's it. There's nobody else all cycle where I was like, this guy was a better player in a real game. So to me, unless if you move Bomber over, then all of a sudden you have Prime and Bomber in the same division, in the same conference. Then the NFC is so stacked that it's not even fair then for the AFC because it's all bums over there. So to me, I think they're as balanced as it could be.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Coop, what do you think?
Yeah, I think from my experience here, at least for the couple seasons, I think they're pretty balanced, especially having Dump coming in. At least gives some more competition to Prime, even though he keeps going on to the Super Bowl. But I mean, it's pretty even between the two. I mean, you've got the same top players that you do every cycle, but yeah, it's looking all right.
Okay. Damon, what about you? You've beaten Prime a couple times during the regular season.
I would actually disagree and say I don't think the conferences are balanced. I think the AFC is just much deeper than the NFC. I mean, we had Not Nice at 8 and 9 make the playoffs last season. I don't think one person was going to balance them, so I don't really agree with what Dan was saying, trying to balance the leagues by going to the AFC. I just think outside of Prime, you have the NFC that just really struggling against Prime. It would be great if one of us could step up in the playoffs and beat them. I think it would make the league better. But yeah, I don't think the conferences are too balanced.
Okay. All right, so let's go to topic 2, and we'll start with Coop this time. So Prime's been to every Super Bowl. I know you haven't been here for all the seasons, but just in case you haven't heard yet, Prime's been to every Super Bowl. But he hasn't won every division title. So why can't anyone in the NFC, specifically the NFC North, who can win the division over him, why can't anybody knock him out of the playoffs?
Well, I've also played with Prime long enough to know that he doesn't always care about the regular season or getting the top seed every time, but he does turn it on in the playoffs and when it does matter. So, um, I mean, until someone like beats him out of some Super Bowls too, it's like, what are you gonna do? He keeps beating up on everybody, but yeah, I mean, these other two guys give him a little more competition than myself, so I'll let them do a little more talking.
All right. Dump, what about you? What do you think?
It's a great question. I think kind of like Coop says, not only does Prime step up in the playoffs and like turn up a notch, but he also plays way smarter. Like in the regular season, he might try some things, throw some dumb passes. Like he's not going to do that in the playoffs. He's going to play a very clean game. He's already hard enough to beat, so just amplifies in the playoff. And also, he's going to have some informants. He's going to get all the notes from people throughout the season that have on you. He's going to get the tips. He's going to get the help. He's going to know what you're going to want to do. So, adding those two things together, formula for a tough game.
Okay. Prime, what do you think? Why do you think they can't beat you?
I've got a little disease called ADD, and when you're in the regular season, sometimes it fires up a little bit. It sounds a lot cooler to throw a pass in triple coverage just to see if you can complete it and clip it and put it in the SML Insanity channel. I also think that when you play somebody like Soda or Stavo or even Damon, who somehow you manage to rip off 5 or 6 playoff games in a row against them, wins, and you haven't lost, it has to kind of be in the back of their head to a point where they make mistakes. I know Dump, historically, we actually haven't had that many playoff matchups, but for Damon, who I actually think statistically, he's beat me more than any SML player this cycle. He's also probably lost to me more in the playoffs than anybody else in the cycle. So I think it's just one of those weird things where I think it kind of gets in your head. And then of course I'm spamming chat as well, trying to cook up the narrative a little bit. And I'm locked in. I'm going to take the check down. I'm not going to force the pass to Dump's point.
Okay. Damon, you're kind of on the opposite end of that. Is like Prime said, you probably lost more to him than anybody in the playoffs, but regular season success, what do you think it is?
I think it's like a double-edged sword when you have to play Prime in the regular season because yeah, you're gonna learn his tendencies, but then he's just gonna learn yours. And by the time the third game comes along as you play in the season, it just really is exhausting having to play Prime 3 times in the season. And then you add on never beating him in the playoffs. That's just like more irritation to it, more then he doesn't lose to anyone in NFC. It just stacks and stacks and stacks. So that's for me why it's tough to beat him in the playoffs. And then when he doesn't make mistakes on his end, yeah, that's really sums up my excuses.
Okay. All right. We'll start with you, Prime, for topic 3. Does the NFC North have the top 3 players in the NFC?
That's a good question. I thought about that hard. The top players in the NFC, me, this is no particular order, me, well, that order, number 1, me, Damon, Stavo, Dump, and Soda. I'm probably going to drop Soda off, and then so it'll either be Dump or Stavo, and I think Dump just roundhouse kicked Stavo in the playoffs. So I'm going to have to, I didn't think I'd say this, but I do think it's the top 3 players in the conference. And it's kind of crazy to think, and I think Dump, out of everybody in the SML at this stage in the SML and this cycle, including myself, the guy that's continually getting better is Dump. He's got his running back. He's got he's getting better. He's been out of the game for a while. I know you could argue QP, but that was the other guy I forgot to talk about. What, you going to put QP in the NFC, the guy who tanked and lost versus Fig? He's a bum, bona fide bum. He's got no winning spirit. He is a scrub. He's a has-been. He's a he's a disgrace of what he used to be. But so he can't go in the NFC either and balance it. But anyway, back to my topic. So I will say dump me and Damon to answer your question.
All right. Damon, what do you think? Top 3 in the NFC North?
This, like Prime said, this was a tough one for me because you could argue that Soda beat myself, and I think you beat Dump, right? Soda beat you in the playoffs. The first season you're in the playoffs.
The first year, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, so you could make an argument that okay, Soda beat myself and Dump in the playoffs, but then Dump beat Stavo last season. But if you just want to look at last season, the NFC North won every single NFC game in the playoffs, and no other division won a single game. So I think going off of just that, I'll say that the NFC North does have the top 3 players.
Okay. Coop, what do you think?
It's got to be pretty close, but I'm kind of mad about this question that it wasn't the top 4, and you include me in this.
I
so-
never said that they were the top 3, and you weren't. I just
Okay.
said
I
are
feel
the
like
top
that's what
3.
everyone else is saying, and now I'm mad. So I'm not going to answer that question anymore.
Okay. All right, Dump. What do you think? Does the NFC North have the top 3 players in you, Coop and Prime?
I think there's a couple ways you look at this question. You look at it from the whole cycle, because I haven't been here long, so you could say no. Do you look at it as currently, or do you look at it as like potential? And I think if you look at it this year, just glance over the standings, you got Mike up there. I'm first, by the way, so they're starting at second. You got Mike. He's had this good year. Solid player. He beat me last night and played pretty well. And then you got the Rams. You got Steele. Has potential, but I haven't been here that long. I beat him in the playoffs. You got MMX. I'm throwing him out just because he's not consistent enough. Soda is probably the top contender. Then you got Prime up there. Then you got AJ. All right, AJ's like the sleeper. I think he's been too inconsistent. All right, and then Stavo, who is 4 and 5 right now. You take that, you combine all those. I think we got the top 3. I think Prime's obviously number 1. I'll say me and Damon are kind of tied. We both kind of accomplished the same things. And I've just done it in less time. 2.5 years.
Jump over
Right there
Damon.
with him,
Damon's the bum. I've been saying it.
So I think
Hold
we got
out
the
your
top
chest.
3. I think me and Damon got to battle it out for that number 2 spot. I'm looking forward to. I'm coming for you, Damon.
All right.
I think we split. We're split on the record 2-2 right now. So
Wow.
Yeah, both we got
We'll see.
NFC Championship appearance. We're neck and neck. Let's say we're tied right now. I'm coming.
All right. So talking about coming for him, and we'll start with you, Coop, on this one. Cycles, well, maybe not for you and Dump, but cycles are long, and playing the same person at least twice a season, it can kind of wear on you. Is there anybody in your division that you would follow next cycle? And if so, who would it be? Or is there somebody maybe that you wouldn't follow?
Oh, this current division? Yeah. For me personally, like you guys one of you said Not Nice made the playoffs, with a bad record. I've been in a division like that where as bad as I am, I made the playoffs at one time at least. I feel like it's better to play competition. I don't mind the competition. I feel like it helps you at least get better, even though if it doesn't always work for me. But it does help playing better competition. My thing is more about schedule and maybe guys that go to bed too early and get up at like 5 a.m.
Mhm.
So I'd follow any of these 3 again. And middle of the list here. I got my second win since I've been back, if you guys didn't know. So been making a list here and marking guys off. I've got Prime on there. I'm still working on him, but we'll get there.
All right. Hey, what season was it you went to the playoffs? Was that with the Titans?
Oh, so it's been a while back. It was back when ZZ and I forgot who else was in my division.
Oh,
We were all pretty
I can already
bad.
tell.
Yeah, we
remember
were
I
all
remember
about,
that one.
it was about like we were all like whoever went, it was like 500.
No, I
I
thought maybe
remember
you had a
that
good
one. Like
season with
8
the
and 8.
Titans, but
Yeah.
all right.
I remember the
It's been a
Titans
while.
there.
All right, Prime. Anybody in this division you would or wouldn't follow?
I'd follow Coop 100%, man. Me and Coop we played some good battles over the years.
I see Stavo in the comments. He agrees.
Yeah. Me and Coop met up in Nashville. He's a good man. I'd follow any of these guys. They're easy to schedule with. They're good players. Honestly, I hope for his sake, I don't have Damon in my division again because I don't know if I can keep it up going at that bloodline and continually beating that bloodline to a pulp like I have for over a year now. But so I don't want Damon in my division again. And I hope we can have a friendship after this cycle. But that'd be the one guy I don't want to have again.
All right, Damon, what about you?
It's kind of like if you go on like a week-long vacation with like your extended relatives or your friends. In the beginning, everything's new, it's fun, you're having a good time exploring, and then we get to like the 6th day, and everyone's just kind of getting on your nerves a little bit. You don't really want to see anybody. You want to have your alone time. So that's like where I'm at right now. I barely even want to look at these guys on my screen right now. That includes Coop. So if you ask me, I wouldn't want to follow anyone. But once like the off season hits, you get a refresher, and then you ask me, then I would definitely be in the division with any of these guys if you ask me for Madden 27. But right now, no, I'm just irritated.
All right, Dump, what do you think?
I tend to agree with the group. I like competition. I don't duck competition. I've never been in a weenie hut division like some of these guys in the SML seek out. So I enjoy being in divisions with guys like Prime, yourself, Bomber, and Dan. I think to be the best, you got to beat the best. You got to compete with the best. Iron sharpens iron. I've enjoyed playing Damon a lot. I think we're pretty similar in skill wise, so it's always a good battle. And Coop's my boy, so I love being in a division with Coop. He's a good man. I appreciate him getting beat to a pulp by us and keep going with the good spirits. So I've definitely joined this division again. I don't think I'd avoid anyone in the division. Everyone's good schedulers. That's something that becomes more important, I feel like, as you get a little older. I've experienced some guys in this league recently and their schedule. I do not appreciate it. I'm not going to say names.
MMX, I'll say it for you.
Yeah, I'm just not an hour window a day, 11 o'clock at night guy. I can't run with these youngsters. So I appreciate these guys and their solid scheduling, competitive play. And if Dan came in here, we'd all whoop his ass.
Yep.
All right.
Except me, but that's all right.
No, you got him.
Just add him to your list. You'll be all right.
Yeah, right down there.
All right, so that's going to leave it 58 for Damon, 58 for Coop, 58 for Dump, and Prime tonight has 58 as well. So Damon, you get a +1 point here for all those tips you gave me just so I could beat Eddie today.
There we go.
Without that, he'd have probably actually beat me. But he gave me the tips and the game plan. So these 10 seconds are all yours.
I was going to have Eddie on as my special guest for this time, but he scampered out. So I'm going to say that my new alliance is with Steel, my good friend Steel. This is the official announcement of my good friend Steel. He was deciding between me and Stavo, but he's going with me. Steel, welcome to the team, man. I'm excited to do good business with you.
All right, so another alliance. Now we've got Steel and Damon. That should be interesting to watch. I don't think Steel has much playoff success, so maybe
we'll fight.
We help each other out. We help each other out.
All right, well, thanks for being on, guys, and this has been First and Goal.
Thanks for listening to First and Goal. Be sure to check out Mad Bomber TV on Twitch and YouTube for the latest from the SML. And we'll see you next time on First and Goal.